Hey there, happy holidays and welcome back to NBA 2K18's MyLEAGUE mode. My name is Pete and in this very special Christmas Day episode we complete 3 very important dates of the NBA season: the trade deadline, the All-Star break and the contract extension deadline in that order. The trade deadline is up first and only 4 days away, and I have planned to actually make another small move in a few moments, but before we get to that we have 2 games against the Cleveland Cavaliers coming up. So let's jump right in, and game number 1 ends in our favor as we beat the Cavaliers in Louisville 111 to 101. Rodney Hood shines with an efficient 19 points in only 18 minutes, while Rashad Vaughn follows with 18 points off the bench. It is not all good though, because Juan Hernangomez suffers a minor injury in this game. However, after the game his status was listed as day-to-day, his overall rating took no hit, and so he stayed in the rotation for the rematch. That rematch then went solidly in the favor of the Cavaliers, who absolutely destroyed us on the way to a 37-point victory. Our leading scorers in this game, Bryce Johnson with 14 and Bamba with 13, while the best overall performance of the night probably belonged to the injured Hernangomez, who despite his injury managed to get himself a double-double with 10 points and 13 rebounds. So, 2 games in the books, trade deadline coming up, time to make another move. And the player that I unfortunately decided to part ways with here is Zhou Qi. Now, the decision was really between him and Cheick Diallo, and in the end I decided to move the 7'1" big man from China, simply because after the arrival of Bamba, his role, or rather his potential role on the team, has become somewhat obsolete. At the same time, Qi still has a 2-year team option coming up, something that Diallo can't offer by the way, which should make him a lot more attractive to other teams. Speaking of other teams, I had a look at who might need another big man and I found the Phoenix Suns. The Suns currently only have 4 players for both the power forward and center spots, and with 36-year-old Tyson Chandler on an expiring contract, I think Qi would fit in perfectly. The Suns didn't really have anything I wanted in return apart from draft picks, and so I simply made them the following offer: Zhou Qi in exchange for 2 second-round draft picks. Now, if you think we're getting robbed in this trade, then keep in mind that in this playthrough Zhou Qi is still largely an unproven commodity. Yes, he is 7'1" tall, but he hasn't really played much in the 1.5 seasons he's spent with us, plus he is still somewhat injury-prone and his potential rating of 75 is also rather mediocre. For the Suns, he's definitely not a guarantee to develop into a serviceable backup player. Still, Phoenix is in a much better position to give him a chance in the rotation than we are. So let's send Zhou Qi over to the Phoenix Suns and acquire 2 second-round draft picks in return. And with that, the most anticlimactic trade deadline I have ever witnessed in a 2K game already comes to an end. Yes, I'm not joking, despite an already increased trade frequency slider, there was not a single trade offer made on this day. So yeah, no big headlines as we head straight towards the All-Star break. And speaking of breaks, Hernangomez's injury still hasn't healed and I had hoped for that to be gone by now, so in our next game against the Philadelphia 76ers he will sit out, as Bryce Johnson takes his spot in the starting 5. This also presents an excellent opportunity to give minutes to Cheick Diallo, who, just as a reminder, is still willing to sign a contract extension with us, but so far we haven't pulled the trigger on that. The Sixers then go down unceremoniously at home, and after that blowout first quarter I doubt the end result was ever really in question, as Rodney Hood leads the Legionnaires to victory with 21 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals and a block. Tyler Ulis adds 17, Bryce Johnson has 12 points, 7 rebounds and 4 blocks, Kuzma almost double-doubles with 11 points and 9 rebounds, and the newest face in the rotation, Cheick Diallo, immediately grabs himself a team-high 10 rebounds. After this game then, Hernangomez is ready to go again, but I actually decided to have him sit out until the All-Star break, just to give Cheick Diallo a few more games to show what he can do. And spoiler alert, he delivered. Back in Louisville, we not only beat the Aces 90-79, but Diallo once again led the team in rebounding with 12 boards in only 21 minutes. Our scoring leader for tonight was Rodney Hood, who acquired 13 of his 20 points from the free throw line, while Tyler Ulis added 19 points and Bryce Johnson a 10-point, 10-rebound double-double. However, Cheick Diallo's story didn't stop there. Against the Wizards, we extend the win streak to 3 in a row with a 105-92 victory, and leading the team in scoring none other than Cheick Diallo. 19 points, 7 rebounds and the steal in only 21 minutes of action, all that while shooting an efficient 7 of 13 from the field and not missing a single free throw. That is a stat line that makes me very happy that we did not trade him. With Derek White, another late pickup, played an excellent game here tonight. The backup point guard that we acquired from the Spurs in the last episode got himself 18 points in 18 minutes here, missing only 2 shots from the field as tonight's second best scorer on the team. Bryce Johnson in his starting role equally efficient, shooting 7 of 10 from the field to finish the game with 17 points, along with 8 rebounds, an assist, a steal and 2 blocks. Mo Bamba and Kuzma both with a double-double tonight, 14 points and 10 rebounds for Bamba and 11 points and 12 rebounds for Kuzma. And so here we are, last game before the All-Star break, and we're heading to Miami for this one. And against the Heat, the win streak sadly comes to an end despite a second half comeback, but we come up short 93-100 and head into the All-Star break on a loss. Rodney Hood returns as the leading scorer with 16 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists and 3 steals, while the 2 point guards Ulis and White both get themselves 13 points, and Kuzma once again gets himself a double-double with 11 points and 11 rebounds. So here we are now, it's All-Star weekend, and I want to take you right into the action. The first event on All-Star Friday night is the Rising Stars Challenge, and just like last year, the Legionnaires have a few participants of their own. On the side of the Stars, Mohamed Bamba was selected to take part in the game, alongside household names like Lonzo Ball or Jason Tatum. And we have another Legionnaire in the game, this time on the side of the elites. Kuzma also participates, with teammates such as Luka Doncic, De'Aaron Fox, Michael Porter or Dennis Smith Jr. So let's kick off the All-Star weekend in Los Angeles in the Staples Center with Friday night's Rising Stars Challenge. And what I did here is I let the CPU play the entire game. In the meantime, I was simply wrapping Christmas presents. And before we get to the end result and the performances of Kuzma and Bamba, I want to briefly talk about Luka freaking Doncic. I think I watched the first 8 to 10 minutes of the first quarter, and Doncic took pretty much every single shot for his team. At the end of the first quarter, he already had 18 points, his team's total at that point 25. Now, he did tone it down a bit for the rest of the game, but after watching at least parts of this game, I can confidently say that at least in this playthrough, Luka Doncic is the real deal. Doncic would finish with a game-high 33 points to go along with 5 rebounds and 5 assists, shooting 13 of 29 from the field and 5 of 12 from 3. And yeah, keep in mind that the team this guy plays for also has Isaiah Thomas, Kevin Love and none other than LeBron James on the roster. Our players were understandably a bit more quiet in this game, also thanks to more limited playing time, but at least Kuzma did put up some points, 7 to be exact, to go along with a rebound, an assist and a steal. Mohamed Bamba actually played close to 20 minutes in this game, but sadly failed to score on only 2 shot attempts, finishing the game with only 4 rebounds and an assist. In the end, Bamba's team, the Stars, did come away with the victory though, beating the elites and Luka Doncic 106-98. So let's jump from one event straight to the next, and from Friday night to Saturday night, where we start things off with the 3-point shootout. The participants this year, from left to right, Isaiah Thomas, Kevin Durant, last year's winner Klay Thompson, next to him James Harden, Kyle Lowry and Damian Lillard. Now Thompson, Lowry and Harden all already participated last year, and like I said, Thompson won the crown that year with 33 points in the final round. He was also the one to go first this year and finished with a strong 31 points, while the returning James Harden had an extremely poor performance, finishing with 9 points, hitting only 6 of his 30 shots. Kyle Lowry, also a returner, finished with 28, while Damian Lillard had 22 and secured himself 3rd place, at least for now. Isaiah Thomas up next, and he would also finish with 22, tying Lillard for 3rd place, and they would remain tied in that spot because Kevin Durant was up last and he almost finished last as well, only 12 points as Durant hits only 8 of his 30 shot attempts. So after round 1, Thompson and Lowry advance with 31 and 28 respectively, while Lillard and Thomas have to shoot a tiebreaker round for spot number 3. The tiebreaker round with only 4 instead of 5 racks, and Lillard would finish his round with 15 points, and that is enough to advance as Thomas only puts up 7. So, final round, Lillard, Lowry and Thompson in that order, and Lillard starting things off with 18 points, pretty good but probably not good enough to win the crown here. Lowry then made sure of that, finishing with 26 points himself, and Thompson unable to win back-to-back 3-point championships, finishing with only 21 points, and that means the title of 3-point shootout champion this year goes to Kyle Lowry. Congratulations. Up next we have possibly the most entertaining event of the weekend, and of course I'm talking about the slam dunk contest. 2K is always a bit strange with the scores in this thing, but on the bright side, at least this season I was able to record the entire contest. The participants this year representing Germany, Daniel Theis of the New York Knicks, then from the Memphis Grizzlies, 61 overall rated rookie Luka Doncic, sophomore Terrence Ferguson of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and a participant from last year and also the tallest guy in the group, Marquise Chris from the Phoenix Suns. Last year's winner Derrick Jones Jr., also of the Suns, did not participate this year. The simple reason for that, the Suns did not re-sign him after the season, and so Jones is currently a free agent. Luka Doncic would then start things off with a rather straightforward alley-oop off the bounce, good enough for 39 points. Terrence Ferguson up next, going with the mailman dunk, also off the bounce, and apparently the jury liked this one a bit better, giving Ferguson 42 points. Marquise Chris, trying to keep the title in Phoenix, then goes up and under from one side of the rim to the other, a dunk that is good enough for 40 points and second place for now. Daniel Theis then up last with his first dunk, a beautiful 360 with shades of a windmill thrown in there, jumping off almost from outside of the paint as well, but the jury would have none of it, awarding him with only 37 points, so Theis is now in the last spot behind Luka Doncic. Second round, and Rook's already starting things off with a bang, getting a teammate involved and jumping over his head for a beautiful between the legs dunk. Without a doubt the most difficult dunk in the contest so far, and that difficulty is rewarded with a score of 47 points. Ferguson is up next, and he also goes between the legs, rotating counterclockwise in the air for maybe not a full 360, but impressive rotation nonetheless, earning him a well-deserved 45 points. Second dunk for Marquise Chris, and this time he goes off the bounce and also between the legs. Not as much rotation for him though, slamming it home reverse with two hands. His score for this dunk a 43, and that only leaves Daniel Theis to finish up the second round. And Theis actually not going between the legs, even though it looked like it here, just bringing the ball way down and then back up with the left hand. The degree of difficulty on this one probably not as high as on the previous three, and so Theis once again gets the worst score in the second round, finishing with 40 points. So after 2 rounds we have Ferguson and Rooks in the lead, only separated by 1 point, followed by Marquise Chris, who might still have a chance, while Daniel Theis sits comfortably in last place and will probably not go on to win this thing. Once again it is Rooks who starts things off, and once again he involves a teammate, and also once again he dunks it between the legs. However, me personally, I found this dunk in round number 2 much more impressive. The judges, however, apparently see that differently, giving Rooks the same score as before, 47 points. Now keep in mind, Ferguson did have a 1-point advantage at the beginning of this round, so he needs at least a 46 to tie and a 47 to stay in the lead. And Ferguson once again pulling off an impressive dunk here, alley-oop off the bounce, bringing the ball around his body and then slamming it home with the right hand. A solid amount of difficulty on this one, and the judges rewarded with 47 points, and that keeps Ferguson in the lead. Marquise Chris then with shades of Air Jordan, jumping off from way back, bringing the ball around in front of his chest and hammering it home with the right hand for 43 points. And that technically already concludes it, Daniel Theis with no chance to win this thing here, still pulling off a beautiful reverse windmill off the bounce, which earns him a score of 40 points. And with that, we have a look at the final score, including a minor but actually very impactful mistake, because I quickly recalculated the numbers and Terence Ferguson should actually have 134 points. Instead, he's listed with 133, and not only that, apparently we have no tiebreaker either, and so the Slam Dunk Contest Championship is for some bizarre reason handed over to Luke Rooks. I can only scream and protest, which of course, knowing 2K, won't really change a whole lot. So yeah, Terence Ferguson actually the real winner of this one, but for some unexplained reason Luke Rooks walks home with the trophy. Now, I said in the beginning of the video that today we would complete both the All-Star Weekend and the contract extension deadline. However, at this point I sadly ran a bit out of time. As probably many of you know, Christmas weekend is always a bit busy, so I would say let's simply make the cut here and then we'll have the All-Star game and also the contract extension deadline in the next episode. Until then, once again, happy holidays and Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. I hope that most of you guys have a few days off to enjoy time with family and friends, and of course to also sit back and relax for a while. Now, as always, if you like this episode, then please leave a thumbs up, and of course, if you want to support the channel, then feel free to subscribe. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!